we should be so proud of ourselves for all of that hard work that people don't see. Working those 80-hour weeks, making the cold calls, networking in places that might not want to network with us. I really wish women would see that and be so proud of themselves and know when you are sitting at that table, you've earned your place.
Welcome to She Owns It, the podcast for women building businesses and lives on their terms. I'm Kristen McAlister, and here we talk about what it really means to own our direction, our decisions, and our life at every stage of our growth. Let's dive in. Hello, I'm joined today with Olivia Jenkin, owner and Chief Operating Officer of Complete Concrete and Hardscapes out of Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Olivia. Thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kristen.
Olivia, I love that you didn't just build a career, you bought a business. You're not just chief operating officer, you're owner and chief operating officer.
Yes.
How did that come about?
In a wildly unconventional way, I was looking for a different career path and connected with Joe Hewitt. And I actually just started as his little secretary and was kind of revamping the business. I got a sales pipeline started, built a website, brought us onto social media. And throughout my years with the company, I ended up becoming a partner in the company and now own the company and operate it on a daily basis.
Did you always see yourself as entrepreneurial, or was this something new that came about as you saw what you could do with a business?
I think it was twofold. My dad was an entrepreneur, and still is. So growing up, I watched him start businesses and definitely gave me the entrepreneurial spirit. But I actually studied criminal justice and psychology and sociology in college, thinking I wanted to go down that road. But I think the bug bit me when I got out of college, and I didn't realize how much work it would be at that time. It sounded flashier to be your own boss, but it was exciting to be a part of a business that I really do love being a part of. I love what we do, and I love doing something different.
What do you feel is I'd say, kind of that bug about the entrepreneurial spirit in running the company, not just operating it, but actually running it? What's that passion that you found for it, that thing that sets it apart from being an employee or just joining a company?
I think it's that it's entirely on me whether we fail or succeed. If I don't sell work, the company isn't going to succeed. If I don't do X, Y, and Z, we aren't progressing, we aren't growing, we don't get to make a name for ourselves. And I really do love that. I love that I've made my own name. I'm not a part of someone else's brand. I'm not a part of someone else's company with someone else's name as the forefront. Everything I put out there has my name on it. And I like kind of having it all on me. It pushes me to work harder every day.
I was going to ask, you're very driven. There's probably always a goal I'm guessing you were 3 years old and you had a goal in life.
Yeah, I was in the office every weekend with my dad when I was younger, just watching him put in the extra hours because that's what he taught me growing up. It's on you whether you fail or succeed. So if you work hard, then you're going to succeed. And I love that about him. And I love that he taught me that because hard work doesn't scare me. What scares me is being lazy. Honestly, I'm not sure I could stop if I tried.
Well, and hard work is sometimes it's working more hours when you need to. Sometimes it's just pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. And I hear that a lot from owners going, I'm doing stuff that I just never saw myself doing. What are some of those you saying, oh yeah, every single day?
Definitely. I mean, when you run a company, especially if it's a smaller business, you have people call in, they're like, can I talk to the accounting department? Who's writing up your invoices? Who writes up the estimates? Can I speak to that sales department? I'm everything. I did not know. I didn't study how to run payroll. I didn't study how to handle insurance claims. Does anyone know what general liability insurance is? Or when I have homeowners ask, oh, can I have a COI? 5 years ago, couldn't have told you what on earth that is. But now I do know what all of that is, but I never in a million years thought that that would be something that I would be doing in my life.
And responsible for and
Mm.
owning every piece of it, whether you make the right decision or
Insurance renewals and all of that comes up, and people are like, "Oh, you handle that?" And it's like, I have to make sure my employees fill out their benefit forms. I am human resources. There aren't 10 different departments in a small business. I am all of those departments. I take the initial phone calls and am there through the end of the sales process. And I don't think people see that behind the scenes. They're like, oh, so she makes a few calls a day. And it's like, no. I'm like, what you see put out there on social media, when you see updates on our website, when you see all of that comes from me. There's no one else doing it. So I love it, but I don't think people realize how much hard work goes into running a business. It isn't this flashy, glitzy, oh, I own a business. It's a lot of hard work that no one sees at the end of the day.
and I sometimes you almost feel like you have split personalities because being on social media and that creative mind that I know you have, and then turning around and doing accounting and being
Mm.
in invoicing and collections, and then turning yet again and you're interfacing with customers, talking about what they want their home to look like and then
Well,
that new driveway and new business channels. How are you balancing? Forget work life balance, just balancing your own mindset and sanity between shifting from it feels like different personalities or different parts of your brain that you're pulling on every day.
compartmentalization has been my biggest friend when it comes to that. And also trial and error, truthfully. Starting it, it would feel really overwhelming the first year I was dealing with it. But I've created systems to help, and I feel like it's almost become ingrained in my soul that I know, okay, I hear the phone ringing. I'm going to pick up and talk to a customer. And then I have an insurance claim to handle. And then I have inquiry forms that come in through our website and they go into my email. And I'm the one that makes the calls. So it's trying to just time management has become much more my friend, but also knowing, okay, I need to focus on this and just being able to really quickly turn on what brain needs to be working at that time.
Was there a moment where you thought, what was I thinking?
Absolutely. I think it happens almost every day that you're like, okay, there are changes in the economy that happen that affect what
Yeah.
people want to do. There are different times of year. What is going on in those different times of year? Is the climate appropriate to be doing this work? Shouldn't I wait till X, Y, and Z? So every day I think I'm thrown a new challenge or a question I've never been asked before. And it's up to me to figure it out on the fly. And I think that's what this business is. You kind of just have to take it day by day. I don't think owning a company, there's a secret to it or consistency. I think that that's what entrepreneurship is about. There's ups, there's downs. There's going to be times where it's very static, and there's going to be times where you feel like you just worked a 10-hour day and still have 6 hours of paperwork to do somehow.
With all of that, and it does weigh on you. There's sometimes a lot of work. Other times you're able to adjust your schedule with for more flexibility. Are you able to just step back? You said compartmentalize, step back and separate yourself and regulate. No, I need a breather. I need to step out of this situation. And when you do, what do you do to rejuvenate yourself?
I am really lucky that I have a really wonderful support system. My family always helps me step back when I'm with them. Rarely do we talk about work. I won't lie. My dad and I talk about work every now and then, entrepreneur the entrepreneur. But I think my favorite thing to do is to spend time with my husband and our bunny Albus. when you are with a little rabbit, he expects everything in the world to be about him. That is the only thing. You don't get, there is no typing on your computer, there is no answering phone calls. You better have 100% of your focus on that little love. And that is such a calming thing for me to spend time with someone who they don't talk, they don't want anything other than your love and affection. And it's such a breather from the constants of work.
I don't know what it's like to just have some bunny love smothered all over me at the end of the day. I cannot. So, does
Oh, it's
Elvis just jump up
bad.
on your lap and want to snuggle?
Oh, he will hop over and he will nudge you, usually on your knee, and be like, okay, it's pet time, and ask you to lay down next to him. He will give you little kisses on your arms and on your face and be like, yep, this is just all about me right now. And it truly centers me and humbles me because I say, I'm running a business, I'm paying the bills, but you own this entire place that we live. Everything is about you. He has hopped into Zoom calls before. I mean, like, excuse me, I wasn't getting enough attention. So it's so therapeutic and relaxing, truly. I'm so grateful to end my day with someone who doesn't care about the numbers or anything else.
And I hear so often that it's tough to reset when you're not focused on yourself and there's someone or something else. What I'm hearing from you is you're saying, no, focusing on the bunny is the reset, is the therapeutic aspect of what you need to just tune it off.
And having a partner that supports you.
Oh,
A
it's
lot
big.
of people struggle when they say, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna be on calls till 10." Or, "Look, we can't go away this weekend. I've gotta be here for the team." And in his eyes, he always says, "A win for you is a win for us." And having that support system is incredible. I am really, really blessed. But if you don't have that support system, if people expect you to do everything and run a business, it's a lot.
That's a great point when there's that expectation that you do need to do it all. Because we're always telling ourselves, we don't
Oh,
need to be everything to everyone.
yeah. Mhm.
But sometimes there is that expectation.
You have to be something to everyone. You have to be a daughter, a wife, a parent, an owner, 100 other things, a friend. It's but when you have people in your life who understand, and I'm grateful that I do, but it's, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I can't do this," or, "Hey, I'm gonna be working until X time. Can we work around this?" But that's such a different conversation that so many people just don't understand. I feel like a lot of people assume, oh, well, you run your own business, you make your own hours, you can get away whenever you want. And it's not that simple. You don't get to just go away whenever you want. You don't get to just say, you know what, I'm going to go on vacation for 3 months. Who's running the business if you're gone for 3 months? That's your company.
And especially as you're in growth mode and you're building, you haven't had the opportunity yet, build out that team, build out all that infrastructure, you're putting the systems in place. There is a period of time in our businesses where we are the one. We've got to be able to build it to the point to be able to hand it off both financially and operationally.
Oh, absolutely. And being in a blue collar industry, it's a vastly different world because most of these companies, they don't have human resources. They don't have a girl answering the phones. That is how most people knew me for the first 2 years that I was with this company. Oh, you're the girl who I talk to sometimes or sends me an email. I'm like, sure. And with everything that I've done to grow this company, every single one of those people that we work with, they have tried to poach me, and I won't hide that fact. But that's because what we're doing in the industry doesn't exist in our industry right now. Nothing is this streamlined. No one does 401ks. No one has health benefits. That's just non existent, honestly, in a lot of the concrete and hardscape industry.
You mentioned you've had a bit of an unconventional entree to entrepreneurship, unconventional career. What are some of those common rules to entrepreneurship or leadership that you've decided this just doesn't apply to me? I do things differently.
I think that one of the rules that I follow is it's okay to ask for help. I think people get very prideful in entrepreneurship. It's my business. No one can do it better than me. I'm absolutely open to talking to other people. If you have ideas, please send them my way. I really do follow the rule that all ideas are valid ideas. And I like hearing what other people are doing and how they're marketing. And that's the biggest part of entrepreneurship, honestly, is not thinking that you can't reach out to people and there's no one below you. It's okay to need help and it's okay to talk to anyone for help. There's no right person to reach out to or a right way to do things. That was also something I told myself is, oh, well, if I run a business, I should look a certain way and I should act a certain way. But you should do what's best for your industry, for your business. Everyone's going to have a different path. Some people don't want growth. Some people don't want to go and have yearly reviews with PowerPoint reviews. It just depends. And that's okay. You don't have to look like everyone else for it to be a valid and successful business.
I hear that a lot is too, well, but what's expected of me or what's in my industry, or because I want to be respected, I'm going to dress a certain way. I'm going to dress more
Mhm.
professionally. I remember being in my 20s in an MBA program and getting glasses that were just clear glass, and that own kind of self-limiting belief of I want to look smart. I am smarter. Now I just want to look smarter. And
Mhm.
we play that role of, but I feel like I'm supposed to look a certain way. Have you ever felt that expectation? Or have you just always been, here I
Absolutely.
am, ladies and gentlemen. This is it.
First time I went to a job site, I was probably 2 months into the company, and it was the middle of summer in Georgia, which, if you're unaware, means it's about 100 degrees. So I had on a pair of jean shorts and a company polo, and I walked on site, and all of the men dubbed me a camp counselor because I looked like I should be at the YMCA running a camp with kids. And I left that day and I was like, well, should I have worn slacks and a blazer? Like everyone else there is in ratty t-shirts, what you work in.
Mhm.
We're laying sod. We're building a retaining wall. I'm not coming there in a blazer and slacks. And I used to get more hung up on how I look. Oh, you look so young. Oh, did you just graduate high school? Are you old enough to be an entrepreneur, to own a business? There's no right age, first of all, and there's no right look. I look exactly how I should because I am 28 years old and I do own a business and I do run this business. So maybe you think I look like I'm 12 years old. Maybe you think, oh, I should be in dresses every day. Or maybe you think I should wear high heels to every single event I go to. But I'm perfectly comfortable in who I am. And that would be a rule I would give for entrepreneurship. Be comfortable in who you are and embrace who you are because so many people are going to tell you who you should be and what you should be. And at the end of the day, you need to be yourself because that is the only way you're going to succeed. If you are pretending to be someone, you and your business are not going to be successful because that facade will fall. And then what are you going to do?
I recently had a guest on and in a conversation, and she was talking about how exhausting that mask is. We walk through with a mask of I should do this and I should be that, and we're not leaning into our natural state of being.
Hmm.
And I really gravitated towards that concept of the more we're leaning into who we are in our natural state of being, the more energy we have for everything else that we want to
Absolutely.
do. And we don't realize how many, I wish we were burning calories, but we're not. We're just burning just mindless energy, not calories. I trying to meet that expectation or to do something else. And I love that you've got that advice for entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
being one. I wish you were there talking to 25, 28-year-old me. Is there anything else front that you've learned that you'd say every woman should know, female leader, entrepreneur, here's the guidebook that I go by or my rule book.
I would tell them that you earned it. I think a lot of people try to downplay who they are, especially women. We try to be humble, make it seem like, oh, well, yeah, I own a company, but it's not that big a deal. But we don't say, I am a female owner of a business. I do work 80 hours a week to succeed. We don't take our power and advertise it. We try to quiet ourselves to make ourselves fit in. There's no mold you need to fit in. You don't need to be quiet. Embrace your power. Embrace how smart you are, how strong you are, how hard you are working. When I started, I used to downplay, yeah, I run a business. Now I'm like, I do run a business. I am the reason that we did over $1 million in sales last year. I am the reason that we are growing. I am the reason, period. Why are we pretending that we aren't powerful and that we aren't intelligent? Why are we downplaying that? I don't think we should be downplaying that. I think we should be so proud of ourselves for all of that hard work that people don't see. Working those 80-hour weeks, making the cold calls, networking in places that might not want to network with us. I really wish women would see that and be so proud of themselves and know when you are sitting at that table, you've earned your place. You've worked so hard to get there. Don't pretend you don't deserve a seat at the table. Pull out your seat and sit at the head if that's where you feel you deserve to sit. You don't need to let others take your shine away from you. You should shine because you are amazing. And I wish people heard that more often and said that to themselves.
Also, I love is we don't always hear it unless we've got a great support system who know that we need to hear it until we're telling it to ourselves. Write it on the mirror. Write it somewhere else. Make it that morning mantra. And you mentioned that we're not always in a place where we're going to get that validation because some do need it. We're not always going to be told it, and sometimes it's not. We're just in the wrong rooms. We're around the wrong
Absolutely. If you feel
people. And
around people who embrace you, find another room, go to another company. I have previously been at a company, and for a long time, I wondered why I was putting in the extra 40%, why I was working at 150% and watching my male coworkers put in maybe a fraction of that effort. And yet they were the ones who were getting the recognition, the promotions, all of the things that we feel we deserve. And I realized, wait, why am I settling for less than I deserve? If this is a place that won't treat me the way I deserve, if I'm in a room that does not see my worth, I'm going to go somewhere that does. And now I own a company. So clearly, they saw, wow, she is amazing. And the right people will see that. Those rooms that you put yourself in, don't think that you have to stay somewhere because it's an okay job. Well, if I just work hard enough, sometimes you can only work so hard. There are places that don't want to recognize how amazing you are because you're a woman. It's not a happy fact. It's deeply unfortunate. And I wish that I could tell my daughters one day, it's okay. It'll be better one day. But the fact is, my grandmother, my mother, this is how we've been treated for decades. So if you want something to change, be that change. Leave that room. Don't keep yourself in a room that won't see your worth. that doesn't say, wow, you're working so hard. Maybe we should take notice of that. Maybe we should see what you're working towards versus, well, you're doing okay, sweetie or honey. And if that's said, I think that's one of the best lessons I've learned. Get up and walk out because you're going to find a place that deserves you and that lets you know not only how much you are worth to the company, but that's how you build your own trajectory. Whether you own a business or not, you want to be in a place that sees your worth, that knows your value, and is willing to say that, whether that be monetarily, verbally, however that is. You shouldn't settle for less because you're worried of what it might look like if you go into a different room. I promise you, it is worth it as a woman to take your power and be intimidating, be powerful, be all of the things, be a boss. I've been called bossy my whole life, and that used to be really offensive when I was a teenager. But I am bossy, and you know what? I get the job done. Let that be a powerful word.
And anyone around, whether any situation that you're in, um, bossy, taking charge, leading through a situation. I have absolutely no issues with whatever labels are out there. I own
Mm,
them, lean into them,
sure.
because sometimes there's not always a common way to explain someone that they're not used to being around.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone who knows their value, be able to take charge, and so a common label can be put to it. And you mentioned that you had learned the hard way going into, being in which rooms you wanna be in and which rooms you don't wanna be in. Is there any other lessons that you learned the hard way? Like, "Oh, no, 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 this is not the right path for me," or, "I will do this different next time."
I think I'm learning every day, so I feel like I learn new ones of those so often. I think some of the biggest things I learned that led me to entrepreneurship was that I didn't enjoy corporate America. I had to
Hmm.
learn that the hard way because I grew up thinking that was the path I wanted. And I joined corporate America and I saw the way that women were treated and my youth was treated. And I don't think either of those were negative things. And it made me wonder, why is it? Why is it treated like there's something wrong with me because I'm a woman? Because I'm a younger woman? I don't think there's a problem with that. I would say, hey, that's amazing. We found someone who can do great work for us. But it made me realize that everyone has different values. And beyond loving the work, I needed to align myself with someone who has the same values. And that was one of the reasons I joined this company because I had been misled. One of the organizations in corporate America, they talk a lot about charity work, all the people they give back to, all these opportunities for giving back. I loved that. I love giving back to my community. I love working with charities. I was so excited and so disheartened seeing that you weren't really giving back. At best, it was a check once a year to look good for Christmas. And I didn't want that. I loved that my first year with what is now my company, I said to the then only owner, hey, I don't want to do a holiday party. What if we adopt 10 or 20 kids through Georgia's foster care program and buy them gifts and use the money that you would put towards a party for that? Without hesitation, he said yes. He said, get on it. This is entirely on you. I love that. And that's what you should do. You should talk to someone who says, I think you're amazing. That's an amazing idea. I want to align with your values because I see that you are someone that I want to keep around. So let me make sure that we create an environment where you feel valued and seen.
I love that you've not just building a company, you're building your company within the community, and that's based on the value alignment that you have with your now partner, but you were able to kind of, do a test run before you
I
actually
would.
got there, and not everyone gets that such a unique experience to be able to make sure that those values align. You need to be ruthless about them. We need to protect them. We need to,
Yes,
as we grow the business, because that's what is going to sometimes make it or break it on whether we make this decision or that decision
absolutely.
is coming back to those. Is there kind of a quote or a mantra that has been one of your guiding lights to your value system or just the way that you think as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, especially in the last 2 years, and since I've put my title out there and people know that I own a company and people know that I'm chief operating officer, everyone wants what you have, but they don't wanna know what you did to get it. So all the time people are like, "I wanna run a company. Oh, it must be so cool. That's amazing. You're an owner." I get a lot of praise for that, and I am so deeply appreciative of that, truly. But a lot of people think it's easy, and entrepreneurship isn't easy. So everything looks amazing, I'm sure, but people don't see the Saturday nights at 9 p.m. when I am writing up estimates, when I am working on contracts. People don't see that I work till 9 p.m., probably 4 out of 5 days of the main week. They don't see us doing appointments on Saturdays. We this week had a project for a Chick-fil-A in Georgia. Do you want to know what time that project needed to be started at?
Oh,
3:45 in the morning. So all of that hard work, the hours, the sweat, the phone calls, it sounds amazing, but the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, that's what makes the company. That's what gives me this title. And nobody wants to do that hard work. When I say that, I don't want to work till 9 p.m. every night. Are you kidding me? But I saw my dad do it, and I'm so proud and amazed by what he created. I want to create that. So I don't mind. You need me to work on a Saturday? Absolutely. Sunday morning, you need me to hop on a client call? Let's do it. Tell me what you need from me. But not a lot of people want to do that. They just want to have the title. They want to say, I'm an entrepreneur because it sounds cool. But it's not. It's hard work. It's not a glitzy, glamorous profession that we go into.
some see titles as it's a bit of an entitlement because I have the title, therefore I am, versus I have the title because I've earned it. I've made it what it is. And then a lot of people, I didn't wasn't given the title. I took the title
Yes.
because as you said, I am the owner and you're operating the company and growing the company in so many ways. What advice would you give a new entrepreneur or CEO as they're growing the company from that, I say over that $1 million mark, 'cause that's such a huge accomplishment, Olivia. I think the stat is over 95% of businesses don't make it over that $1 million mark. What advice would you give them to just keep going? Do not stop at this point.
Patience. I think patience is one of the most important reminders to yourself. Everyone has a different track and every industry has a different track. So I remember when I started with the company, our 5 year plan, our 5 year plan has changed about every 6 months. And I think that is something that entrepreneurs need to keep in mind. Being an entrepreneur, everything is constantly changing. So knowing maybe you do hit that $1 million in sales and you could go back to $200,000 the next year. You never know. It's a very unpredictable industry. So if you want to keep growing, you do need to be patient. You need to give yourself grace. I think that is one of the greatest pieces of advice is that sometimes you just need to remind yourself, hey, I am doing the best that I can. I've put in the hard work, and that's all I can do. So give yourself patience, give yourself time, give yourself room for things to change because things will change. As your company evolves, your vision evolves, strategies are going to change. Technology is going to change. The way I used social media 5 years ago versus how social media is now, vastly different. So you have to be open to changing with the world in order to succeed.
I love it. It and you don't know sometimes until you get there, and then you realize there's so much more that I don't know, and I just need to go experience it. You mentioned the 5-year plan. We went from 5-year plan to 3-year plan to 18-month to now I'm seeing businesses adjust on a quarterly basis
Yes.
and creating a flexible, agile environment to where they can make those tweaks and adjustments every 90 days, and it's not a big ordeal. The
Yeah.
team's on board, the company's on board. They've now got systems in place to make those adjustments. And I've seen I've seen it happen in real life. We are
Yeah.
all going through this right now as owners.
Absolutely. You have to be flexible. You have no idea what the economy is going to be like in 4 years. Do you have any idea what a year ago the economy was going to look like today?
Yeah.
I didn't. So I wouldn't have known. So you need to be quick on your feet and flexible and okay with change. If you are dead set that things can only be one way and there is only one right way to succeed, you are going to fail.
Oh, truer words have never been spoken. Olivia, what does freedom mean to you?
Well, that's an excellent question. Freedom to me is being able to live my life the way I want to, truly. So if that does mean that I want to take a week off for my family, I can. It means if I have health issues, I can go ahead and take care of them. It's just having that constant flexibility in life
Mhm.
and knowing that you can do what you want without a fear of failure as well. I think there's such a, when you talk about freedom, everyone's like, there's a right way. Well, it just means I can do whatever I want. No, it means I have the opportunity to try different things. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. It's having that grace to fall and knowing there are going to be people who pick you back up.
Absolutely. What's the one thing you wish more owners knew?
Entrepreneurship is hard work. I wish more people knew how hard it is to get into this industry, to create a successful business, and what it really means. I feel like a lot of kids I see study it in college. Very few people follow through with entrepreneurship out of college because it is hard work and people lack that work ethic. You need to be prepared what it takes, not just to start a business, but to get a business off the ground. You're not going to make $1 million overnight. Not everyone is going to look like Steve Jobs. That is a beautiful story to look at, but that is horribly unrealistic for how every entrepreneur is going to look. And I wish more people knew that.
And right now, Olivia, what are you owning in your life and your business?
I am owning being proud of the person that I have become. I am in my personal life and in my professional life. I am Olivia Jenkin. I am the owner and chief operating officer. I am not the person you call because you think you can get a better deal than talking to my male partner. I am not the person who's going to settle for less than I deserve. And I am absolutely okay if my lifestyle is not for you because I am thrilled with the life that I live. And I think embracing who you are, that's what I'm owning. Everything that I am, what you see is what you get. And I am okay if that is not your cup of tea, but it's mine.
And that's why that you're the one owning that and no one else, because there is no other Olivia Jenkin out there. Let me tell
That
you. 100%. Libby, thank you for sharing your experiences, your insights, the ups, the downs. I feel like it's a constant roller coaster in entrepreneurship. And as we figure out our careers, our lives, our businesses, thank you for explaining not just the ups of it, but also some of those downs and the reality and how you've embraced that and worked your way through it.
Well,
Thank
thank you for having me and for creating this space for women.
Oh, thank you. It's absolutely a thrill to have you and your experience as part of She Owns It. For everyone else, if today sparked a new idea, it gave you something to take action on. And if you didn't get at least one thing from Olivia to take action on, hit the rewind button, listen again. There will be at least one thing, and don't let it sit. Share it, use it, and keep growing. Until next time, keep leading with your own clarity, your own path. And as Livia said, the power that we have to make it happen. Thank you for joining us. If today's conversation resonated, share this episode with a woman who's building something she cares about deeply. Remember to subscribe and like the episodes that resonate most with you. Until next time, keep owning your choices, your direction, and your definition of success. I'm Kristen McAlister. Thank you for listening.